Matsui & Company.
The sport truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth Mitsubishi Motors.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Hidani Naganuma.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
These are topics for today.
In Executive Insight, probing the possibilities of nursing care robots invented in Japan.
From World Business Satellite, a new service to re-energize struggling small and mid-sized businesses.
Also from World Business Satellite, an inside look at artificial intelligence research labs that are giving rise to new services.
And in Takumi, dishware that's also cookware. So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Naganuma-san, what's our topic?
The topic is this, iRobot. This is a book that was written by an American author, Isaac Asimov, and it was first published in 1950.
Well, that's classic science fiction, which had a lot of impact on people in Japan as well.
It certainly did, and the person we'll be hearing from today also says he was greatly influenced by the book. Yoshiyuki Sankai, CEO and founder of Cyberdyne. And apparently his mother bought him the book when he was in elementary school, and he fell in love with it that he decided he wanted to become a scientist and create robots.
I see. Well, when you're young, you have a lot of dreams, but to pursue one dream all the way through and make it into an actual business, that's quite a feat and also inspirational for many young boys and girls out there. What's the difference with other robots in development or market?
Well, actually, in Isaac Asimov's iRobot book, there are 3 laws of robotics. The first one is a robot may not injure a human being. The second, a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings. Third is a robot must protect its own existence.
So in other words, safety, convenience, and durability, I guess.
Yes, you can put it that way. And Mr. Sankai is very particular about creating robots that help people. So instead of creating military purpose robots, he makes those for medical and nursing care fields. And this time, we have an interview with him to find out his vision and motivation. Take a look.
In Japan, the number of elderly, those 65 years old and above, has reached 32.9 million, or 1 out of every 4 people. This super-aging society faces the massive challenge of improving the living standards of the elderly and providing adequate support. Amid this, there has been growing interest in robots that can perform in the social welfare and nursing care fields. One of those is Robot Suit HAL. It's unlike the bipedal robots making headlines or even industrial robots. When a person is about to move, signals from the brain are sent to the muscles. The robot suit detects the faint signals that are generated and activates its motors and control mechanisms. It is designed to support the movements of people who are physically weak and allows them to carry heavy loads. The robot suit was developed by Yoshiyuki Sankai, the founder and CEO of Cyberdyne.
This is crazy. Crazy.
Since launching the company 10 years ago, Mr. Sankai has poured his heart and soul into the development of the robot suit. He's a scientist as well as an entrepreneur. So what's his vision for the robot suit business? Executive Insight.
There are other companies that have put out wearable-type robots. So what's unique about Cyberdyne?
We began drawing up the basic concept of our product back in 1991 to get to this point. As we became confident that this could work, similar types of robots gradually started appearing in Japan and overseas. Our basic concept is fundamentally different from that of robots coming onto the market. We are proposing using signals originating from the cranial nervous system and making the robot move as intended by a person. With this, it's possible to make the robot move as you want it to. So, for example, if a healthy person wearing it wants to exert greater strength, it will generate more force. And if the person wants to reduce strength, the output will be less.
The robot created by Mr. Sankai doesn't work simply by switching it on. It utilizes a technology he named Cybernetics. As the technology detects and enhances faint signals flowing through the human body, there's hope that it will aid in the fundamental improvement of cognitive and physical functions.
This is HAL, designed for social welfare and used in the training of people with physical difficulties. Typically, it's worn on the legs, but I'll be testing it out on my arms. When I bend my arm, the signal is detected, and the robot also bends. When I straighten my arm, it does the same. What I think is transmitted to the robot.
The device has already been put to use in physical rehabilitation facilities in Japan as well as overseas. The company says in some cases, patients who had trouble walking were able to more easily move their legs. But in developing an unprecedented robot on their own, they faced a mountain of difficulties.
This kind of product should have been put on the market as a medical device. In fact, we really should have waited until it became certified as a medical device, but we took the path of renting it out and started running a small business. And it's going extremely smoothly. Now it's been accepted as a medical device, and in Germany, we're at a stage where things are getting off the ground. And in the United States, we've completed our application to the FDA and should be getting a reply in a few months. It's taken a long time, but if that goes through, we will finally be able to expand globally. A sort of cycle will start moving.
Mr. Sankai's robot suit is already being exported to the US and Europe. His next target is naturally Asia.
What are your plans for Asia?
Japan, the US and Europe account for about 2/3 of the global medical industry. And especially in terms of medical devices, they make up about 80% of the market. That's why we're actually focusing on those markets right now as we move forward. As for Asia, it is an extremely big and crucial region. We want our technology to benefit people in Asia as well. To do so, an important factor is the need to get approval in each country. We've already started discussing how to get into several markets neighboring Japan.
At the end of last year, Cyberdyne announced a new business tie-up. Its partner is Omron, a major electronic device maker focused on the healthcare field.
We reached an agreement with Cyberdyne, under which Omron will provide servicing and maintenance support for HAL robot suits developed by the company.
The plan is to leverage Omron's business network spanning 110 countries and regions for not only sales, but also maintenance. Omron too has amassed sensor controller technologies and even developed a ping-pong robot that can play against humans. The company had been looking at robotics as a new business when it decided to join hands with Cyberdyne. While Cyberdyne had limited the use of the robot suit to the nursing care and social welfare field, it recently began taking steps toward a new business. Their idea is to relieve the strain on the backs of workers carrying heavy loads at construction sites and reduce the risk of chronic lower back problems. For example, when lifting a 40-kilogram object, the robot can help shoulder up to 16 kilograms of that weight. Despite being a 10-year-old entrepreneurial venture with less than 100 employees, the company is involved in many such initiatives to speed up the penetration of its robot technology.
If you ask me what it is that Cyberdyne does, I would say we are making the relationship between humans and technology extremely intimate. The closest you can get is actual contact, and that means being right next to it day by day. If you build up technology in that sort of situation, even manufacturing itself will change.
Do you mean to say a manufacturing revolution after automation that's focused primarily on assisting people?
That's one idea. For example, if doctors or medical professionals wore it, they could teach patients how to operate it. It can record all of your own movements and figure out how your brain is strategizing to move the body. The age when robots can acquire that sort of information is already here. In other words, if Tiger Woods wore it and swung his golf club, it would properly record his information.
Mr. Sankai started out as a professor at Tsukuba University. He realized his childhood dream of becoming a robot-creating scientist, and while working furiously on his research, he confronted numerous obstacles. After struggling for a long time, he decided he had to become an entrepreneur in order to change society.
Actually, ever since I was little, I wanted to put technology into human society and have it used and appreciated. And then I became an expert in the field and began walking towards that dream as an expert. But even if you come up with a concept from scratch, build a prototype and think that it'll work, to actually make it into a device that can be properly used in society, you need to go as far as making sure that it's accepted by society. The various approvals you need, and the quality of the device as well, everything has to be in place. If you want to do that, it's just not possible from a university level. So you go to big business. That's when you're forced to make a commitment. What I mean is, you face a world where there's no market for your product. There's no market, no industry, no users, no professionals, and no social rules. With revolutionary technologies, this is always the situation. When there's nothing, big companies just can't take action. This is what Japan fervently desires. It was the same with cars and the electronics industry. Everything we did was following up on what was already being done overseas. We imported everything from road traffic laws to insurance systems. Japan has almost no experience creating new rules from scratch. In addition, we need to go into this field and become experts. It's extremely tough. But the fact that we have revolutionary technologies is without doubt the catalyst.
Cyberdyne, led by Mr. Sankai, has attracted strong interest from around the world. The driving force is the passion he has for his work.
What is your starting point as an entrepreneur?
This is the way I look at it. Think on your own about what society needs and what you should do, and take action. That sense and intention should be the starting point for anything you do. Fortunately, I love people and society. So doing something for people and society that brings happiness is actually the best reward for me. So even when you're walking through town, you're constantly looking at things and thinking of ways to make improvements. Ideas pop into your head through habit. And when you see someone in a difficult situation, you want to help in a certain way. I'm always trying hard to find solutions. That's the type of person I've become. This is a quality that's not acquired through some kind of training. It's a fire that you need to keep lit inside your heart. It's essential. I think that's the type of education that this country also needs to do properly.
Mr. Sankai leads a company specializing in one of the world's most advanced wearable robots. To bring a future found in the pages of science fiction into our real lives. He continues to test the limits of human ingenuity.
We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
Tomorrow never ends with you. With you. It won't. When the morning falls, we there so long. Well, I know we'll never.
For life's greatest moments. Bridgestone.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we have a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Naganuma-san, what's our topic today?
We'll take a look at small and mid-sized enterprises that boast innovative technologies, and according to data, there are about 460,000 across the country.
Well, I understand many are subcontracted with major firms.
Yes, but in recent years, many of those big companies have shifted production overseas, and that's caused the domestic manufacturing base to shrink.
Yes. Well, we do often hear about the hollowing out of Japanese manufacturing because of globalization, but I know there's new moves to help out small companies that are struggling.
Yes, and to re-energize those small businesses that have cutting-edge technologies, new matchmaking services have been launched to connect them with bigger firms. We have a report on this growing trend. Take a look.
Surrounded by mountains is Ida City, Nagano Prefecture. This is Hanai Seiki, which makes components and other products on consignment for major medical equipment manufacturers, a small firm with just 10 employees. It is highly regarded for processing technologies to round metal components to precise measurements. Leveraging that capability, it manufactures English handbells. Domestically made English handbells are extremely rare, with a 3-octave set costing 2 million yen, or about $16,000. The sound they produce is called a harmony of angels.
This sounds good.
The idea for the product was first proposed by Masanori Kubota, a staff member of an agency assisting local industry. He and his team brought together several local companies for the project. They act as connoisseurs, identifying the advantages of small and mid-sized businesses and connecting them with bigger manufacturers.
We're all in this together. Just because the scale is small doesn't mean we're not going to do all we can.
This sincerity is what supports the companies in the project.
In any endeavor, he's always there to push us to take the first step.
With consignment work disappearing as major companies shift production overseas, Mr. Kubota has been reaching out to owners of local businesses.
The big companies don't really take care of them, so I know they're suffering. I think the heads of small and mid-sized businesses are all wondering what to do.
Mr. Kubota works here at the Minami Shinshu Ida Industry Center. It is a public service corporation funded by the prefecture, local governments, and local companies. It promotes cooperation among businesses and also provides subsidies. Mr. Kubota worked in the technical and sales departments of a major manufacturer until he reached the mandatory retirement age of 60. And then 5 years ago, he was scouted for this position. He says he accepted the job out of a desire to give something back to his hometown.
It's not out of a sense of responsibility. I just want to do all I can.
But few small companies have the capability to make products such as handbells under their own brand. He needed to link their technologies to big manufacturers. To solve such issues, one company is taking action. Disti, an entrepreneurial venture with just 11 employees. Their service is called Linkers and connects big companies to smaller ones. The president, Yoshihiro Maeda, used to be a manufacturing consultant at Nomura Research Institute. During his time there, he realized that major companies too were looking for a way to establish relationships with smaller firms.
If there are 100 product proposals, less than 5% make it to the final stage of mass production. In quite a lot of cases, projects stall in the middle of development because an optimal partner can't be found.
The Linkers service set up by Mr. Maeda is designed to allow big companies to easily identify smaller firms they can work with. Central to this system are experts called coordinators. Coordinators are, in effect, connoisseurs working at 20,000 industry support agencies nationwide. More than 1,200 coordinators are currently registered with Linkers. Until now, big and small companies with no previous connection had difficulties establishing a business relationship. But by putting a connoisseur with in-depth knowledge of local firms in the middle, the distance between them has drastically narrowed. On this day too, a new partnership is about to be struck. Using a railway model made of clay and promoting its technology is Okamoto Electronics from Nara Prefecture. A magnet underneath the train triggers a switch to identify its location and allows its movement to be controlled. Although a small-scale company run by a husband and wife team, it has been in business for 32 years and is highly recommended by the local connoisseur.
Can the magnets and switches be affected by other things? Compared to wireless, nothing.
Linkers was asked to act as the intermediary by toy maker Bandai Namco Group. The company is seeking technologies that can allow robots to move using sensors. They say they've struggled to find suitable partners until now.
Finding one can drag on. Sometimes it takes about a year.
The coordinators who act as connoisseurs sign a non-disclosure agreement with Linkers. For that reason, companies can discuss projects under development without worry. Big firms pay a fee of about 1 million yen per project. Even so, more than 100 deals were inked in the first year. Linkers has rapidly expanded to the point that it is now used by even Toyota Motor and Panasonic.
We're handling more projects now. One firm submitted 8 to 10 requests in a matter of 2 to 3 months.
Back in Ida City, Nagano Prefecture, local connoisseur Mr. Kubota has also registered with Linkers and is on the hunt. On this day, he goes to Achi, a village neighboring Ida City. This is Achi Seiki, with which he has a long-standing relationship. With 20 employees, the company handles component processing and more recently has developed a tea bag manufacturing machine. Through Linkers, they're actually in the process of securing a major order from a big firm.
With proposals from Linkers, it's just a question of whether we can do it. There aren't any detours. It's a straight shot. We reached a deal directly and in the shortest distance. I think they had the strength, underlying strength.
Contacted by a major trading company wanting to order juice presses, Mr. Kubota recommended Achi Seiki. The company's quality assurance system is solid. Locally rooted connoisseurs have become a bridge between big and small firms. January 29th. An industry support organization inside Fukui University. DISTI President Yoshihiro Maeda is here. He has come to find more local connoisseurs or coordinators.
We want to expand our track record in the Hokuriku region with Fukui at the center. If more people register, it would be a big help for us.
To energize small and mid-sized firms across Japan, he aims to sign up 3,000 connoisseurs, more than double the number now by year-end.
If we can bring out truly wonderful technologies laying dormant now and connect them with the technology development of big companies, I really believe Japanese manufacturing will be able to compete with the best in the world.
Why does the world need a new weekly publication covering Asian business?
Because there are stories in Asia that are yet to be told. Stories that will transform the way we do business and the way we live. There are stories that are only told to locals, stories that cross borders, stories that connect one side of Asia to another, in ways that are not always obvious.
We're here to tell those stories.
See what others don't. Introducing Nikkei Asian Review.
What's next?
Yes, services taking advantage of artificial intelligence, or AI.
Well, understand AI is something that's starting to be put into practical use around the world.
Yes, and for example, in the US, there are moves to use AI to write news articles in the place of human reporters. And for one university, It is said that they're using AI to grade essays, but there are debates around this.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I've heard one study forecast that 65% of jobs today will be replaced by AI in the next several decades.
Yes, that's quite a figure, but there are advantages as well. By delegating work such as analyzing vast amounts of data to AI, humans will be able to focus on higher level tasks. And we have a report on the various services that are being developed. Take a look.
A high school student with less than a year left before university examinations. She's studying while looking at her smartphone. What she's watching is a lesson by a popular cram school teacher. The all-subject examination supplement service provided by Recruit allows users unlimited access to 2,000 high school classes for a monthly fee of 980 yen, or about $8.
I can watch these anywhere. And if I forget something, I can rewind the clip. I can also adjust the speed that the teachers talk.
The service was launched 3 years ago and is said to be used by half of all students taking university examinations this fiscal year. Using historical data on students who passed as well as failed their exams, Recruit is now developing a new service.
We want to offer a function that uses artificial intelligence to devise additional study methods for subjects each student is struggling with.
The idea is for AI to instantly assume the role of an actual tutor. So how does it work? For example, two people who made the same mistakes on a test and got the same score, Takuya and Yuko. Based on the result, Yuko moves on to this class. The reason is that AI determined Yuko to be a diligent and methodical student. Meanwhile, Takuya is judged to easily give up, and to raise his motivation, a message from a student at the university he wants to attend is delivered to him.
Don't give up even until the last second. And do your best.
AI will ascertain even a user's personality and devise an individualized study method.
We've been doing basic research since last year and hope to actually deploy the product starting next year.
How is AI that can adapt to specific individuals being developed? Here at this laboratory, data on the examination study habits of about 300,000 students is being analyzed. This is data showing when students who passed examinations for their first choice schools used the examination supplement service. It reveals that few studied after midnight. By analyzing such data, they have been creating a program to serve as the core of AI.
Right now, we're working on a program that will tell users what they need at that moment to study efficiently and recommend materials and video so that they can pass their exams.
Mr. Nasuno is currently working on a program that determines a user's motivation to continue studying. For example, those who watch a popular instructor's lesson the first day it's uploaded and read manga designed to heighten their motivation are said to have a high probability of being able to continuously study. There are several hundred forecast patterns for a user's ability to continue studying, and AI determines that those who don't fit into any have a high probability of giving up quickly.
When a user is seen as likely to give up at an early stage, it's important to give them content that will improve motivation.
There is a limitless number of success patterns derived from big data acquired from 300,000 people. Using that, programs are written to develop AI that can provide individualized study methods. This project is overseen by Associate Professor Yutaka Matsuo. He says AI is capable of analyzing vast amounts of data and offer solutions to any kind of student.
Computers will eventually be able to do what tutors are doing now. The scope of AI is dramatically bigger. Compared to the number of students a single tutor can look at, it has access to a much larger pool of students, so the way it teaches is smarter and better.
AI with vast experience. It may soon become the primary tutor of students. News applications over smartphones are used by many people riding the train or in their spare time. One such application called Smart News has become the biggest in Japan, surpassing 4 million monthly users in just 2 years after being launched. Indispensable for this service is AI.
Smart News collects, categorizes, arranges, and ranks several million internet news articles from around the world every day and sends them to users.
Sorting through the millions of articles daily are just 4 editors. At one of their meetings,
each signal tells us which country it's coming from.
The editors write down one formula after another. This, they say, is what happens daily at their meetings. So what do these formulas mean? Currently, Smart News delivers articles written in English to more than 150 countries around the world. To grow users, they need to change the selections according to the target country.
In simple terms, we give a score to show how much of a connection there is between the article X and the country Y. We're building a system that can automatically determine which article should go to which country.
This is a formula to estimate in which countries a specific article is likely to generate interest. For example, the value of Y is 0.5 in the United Kingdom and 0.25 in the United States. In this case, the article will be shown at the top on the UK version and won't appear on the US version. These are articles actually selected by AI. On the left is the UK version with the piece on the UK election at the top. On the right is the US version, and the top item is about the death of a well-known television newscaster. And this is a formula that helps to prevent the duplication of similar articles. What happens without it?
They'll simply appear in order of popularity, so the list skews toward entertainment news.
When ranked by popularity, only articles having to do with a comedy duo, pop idols, and entertainment show up. But as shown on the left, the top headlines of the day covered various topics such as accidents and social issues. They say the diversity of information addresses the interests of a wide range of people and has helped them expand the user base. Smart News is building up its AI using about 100 different formulas to determine aspects such as regional interest, diversity, and social impact. While it only handles Japanese and English news now, the company says it is aiming to expand into other languages.
Developing a service for each and every language will take time and a lot of money. Building up sophisticated AI so that you can take a single approach to resolve all of those problems will be crucial for our global expansion.
Artificial intelligence is continuing to get smarter. Formulas devised from massive amounts of data are starting to demonstrate a power surpassing human abilities.
Well, ranking millions of news items that are published daily by interest level around the world is almost impossible without AI.
Yes, and the market is forecasted to exceed about $10 billion by 2018. And the competition is heating up around the world as well.
Well, I'm sure AI will become more embedded in our everyday lives before we know it. Well, after the break, we have an episode of Takumi.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
Omron is a company like no other. It defines expectations because engineers are constantly working on something new. Machines that are attuned to the way people think and move. Therein lies technology that will one day help the future. We automate. Omron.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we bring you a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK that introduces the latest developments in science and technology in Japan.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe craftsmen who has exceptional skills or a master technician.
So what kind of artisan will we be meeting today?
Our Takumi this time makes this.
Well, it looks like a typical dishware. What's so special about it?
Well, it appears like any other plate, but it can instantly become cookware. Take a look.
This is Arita in Saga Prefecture, Western Japan. The area has been producing porcelain since the 17th century. The porcelain called Arita or Imariware is known worldwide for its richly colored enameling on clear white porcelain. Hi, I'm Michelle. Today I'm in Arita, Saga Prefecture, known for its porcelain production. I've heard that there's an innovative porcelain plate that's made here. Let's go find out how it's made. Hello, I'm Michelle.
Nice to meet you. I'm Matsunaga.
Here is today's Takumi or innovator, Sugio Matsunaga. He took us to see his invention. So, this is it? It looks rather like an ordinary plate, except for the grooves inside.
Well, this plate only comes into its own when you put it in a microwave oven.
What does he mean exactly? The Takumi then placed a piece of uncooked salmon on the plate and put it in the microwave. Listen to that sizzle! You can smell it cooking now, too.
That's right.
It's cooked beautifully. You can see the crisp, grilled skin. Let's try. It's hot. It really smells and tastes like it was cooked in a grill. So, how does the Takumi's plate work in a microwave? He conducted a test to show us. Bringing out a regular Arita ware plate. He heats it for 2 minutes. The plate surface temperature rises to 65 degrees Celsius. Now heating the Takumi's plate for 2 minutes. The surface temperature hits 136 degrees. It's red hot. The plate temperature can rise as high as 280 degrees. The ideal surface temperature to pan cook a hamburger is 180 degrees. This means that the Takumi's plate is functioning like a frying pan, but in a microwave oven. But why does the Takumi's plate get so hot when it is used in a microwave? First, let's take a look at the microwave oven's heating mechanism. The moisture inside the food actually reacts to the microwaves being emitted inside the oven. Positive and negative charges are emitted by the microwaves in turn. Water molecules contain electrically polarized atoms, so when subjected to microwaves, they start to spin. This movement creates heat. But what is the secret behind the Takumi's plate then?
This plate has silicon carbide mixed in with it.
Silicon carbide? When silicon carbide electrons are agitated by microwaves, it creates an electric current that generates heat due to electric resistance. Also in response to the microwaves, the molecules in silicon carbide make small rotations and generate heat when they rub against each other. What led you to developing the plate?
Well, a hotel once asked me to make a more durable plate that they could use over a burner at guests' tables. And that was the catalyst.
The Takumi manufactures Arita-ware commercially for professional use in hotels, Japanese-style restaurants and the like. But 80% of porcelainware used for grilling ingredients over a direct flame breaks after being used for only a year. What caught the Takumi's attention at that time was a shelf used inside the kiln to bake the porcelain. It is extremely hard and can withstand being heated up to 1,300 degrees Celsius repeatedly without breaking. The main material used in the shelf board is silicon carbide. The Takumi tried mixing this with materials used in Arita-ware. After 5 long years, the extra strong plate was perfected. But there was still a problem. Silicon carbide costs $5,000 per 1,000 kilograms, 6 times the cost of Arita-ware materials. Even though the product was good, it cost too much, and the hotel wouldn't buy it.
I didn't know what to do. But my developer partner suddenly said one day, "It might work in a microwave oven." I put it in the microwave, and it heated up quite well. So I cracked an egg on the plate, and I was able to cook an egg sunny side up.
The Takumi and his partner then came up with the idea of selling the plate for the home market. So they started giving demonstrations at department stores. But then they faced a volley of complaints. In response to the complaint about liquid from the ingredients soaking into the plate's surface, the Takumi glazed the plate. In answer to a complaint about oil not draining away from under the food, the Takumi carved grooves into the surface. The Takumi's plate evolved through direct contact with consumers. So finally, we asked him what he believes is the essence of being a product maker.
In fact, the reason that anyone complains is because they want something to be better. So you have to be able to make things with a strong, consumer-oriented perspective. That's what I believe.
Being able to just put ingredients on the plate, microwave it, and have the dish ready to eat. That really sounds very convenient.
Yes, I would want one too.
Yeah.
And it would be helpful, especially for people living on their own.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.